Greetings, beautiful souls. Each one of us who decides to come into a life on planet Earth sets it all up beforehand. And I often find myself pondering my choices for, parents and family. And I'm continually amazed at what a great job I did with those pre-birth choices. My Earth family was and is so loving and supportive and made growing up as a star child on an alien planet much easier to deal with. My parents were both scientists and naturalists, and my siblings and I grew up tagging along with them on field trips and university lectures and meetings. And it's funny, as an adult, I ended up doing those same things with my husband, who was a university science educator. One of the first books that absolutely fascinated me as a child was about the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio, with wonderful drawings and descriptions. If you're not aware of the Fibonacci sequence, it was discovered by Leonardo Pisano back in the late 1100s. Anyway, I won't go into any detail here, but it's a series of numbers in which a given number is the result of adding the two numbers before it. So if you start with 0, the next number would be 1, followed by 1, followed by 2, followed by 3, and so on, where each number is the sum of the two preceding numbers. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, and so on. Well, the reason this is so cool is because it determines a rate of growth that is sequential. But as far as I'm concerned, what makes this so fascinating to me is the golden ratio. When applied in geometry as a growth factor, you get a logarithmic spiral known as the golden spiral that gets wider by a factor of 5 for each quarter turn it makes. Many artists use this ratio in their paintings and drawings. My absolute favorite artist using the Fibonacci spiral is M.C. Escher. You've probably seen his drawings of the ascending and descending staircases that go on forever, or his golden triangle. But the best examples of the Fibonacci sequence spiral is in nature, like flowers, cones, pine cones, seashells, or ocean waves, or hurricanes. And my favorite, the spiral galaxies in space. Don't get me started. Anyway, as our parents pursued their studies in biology and entomology, my whole childhood became a series of adventures in the mysteries of the natural world. My younger sister was so intellectually advanced that she was reading college textbooks at age 3 and began school by skipping the first 2 years and going directly into higher grade school. And my older sister was taking her university studies while she was still in high school. But my genius little brother at age 7 gave a lecture on grasshoppers at a university entomological meeting in front of a group of PhDs and got a standing ovation. He was totally confident and composed because he never thought of himself as any less than those degreed scientists. He just knew what he knew. with all of this, I find it interesting that no matter what I ever told my mom over the years, she always seemed to take it all in stride. It was as if she had already sort of anticipated what I was going to say. Or maybe she was just so used to weird things coming out of my mouth. She just chalked it up to more star speak. When I was studying at various university levels, she and I would talk about all the fascinating things I was learning, including the esoteric concepts of the quantum world. You know, I never felt judged by her for being different. After all, she was used to having a daughter who insisted she was from another world, especially after her mother, my grandmother, had announced at my birth that I had been sent from the stars. One of the first things I remember asking my mom at age 3 was about my adoption. I had memories of coming from another world, so I figured that meant I had been adopted. Well, she assured me that she remembered giving birth to me. And yet what I remembered was coming into a body that had already been born. I remembered my other home, especially my guardians who had prepared me for this earth life. I also remembered having another family in that other place. When my older sister was about 5 or 6, she seemed very wise to me. And I asked her once what world she came from. And she told me about God. I don't know where she got this information, but she told me how God had created the earth and how the humans were his children. Well, this just didn't seem right to me because I couldn't imagine a God creating bad people, for example. And I didn't like the idea of God being a man with, a long white beard hanging out on a cloud, doing mean things to innocent people and animals. Well, my grandmother was extremely spiritual and despised religion and the idea that in order to be close to the Creator, you had to be in a church. She said the only place you will find holiness is inside your heart or outside in nature. She said that what she called the absolute had given nature something that mankind had lost, an innate knowing of who and what they are. So an animal always knows its purpose, whether maybe a dolphin or a bird or a lion. An animal is guided through its own inherent and basic instincts, which is the map that directs its behavior. My spiritual teacher once said something similar, that each human has within it to ascend into the higher realms within one lifetime through disregarding everything taught by humans and following the wisdom of the ant, what he called the grandest teacher, because in the ant's tiny world, it understands the whole. Of course, to be honest, all I desire from those tiny master teachers is to leave me alone and stay out of my house. Sorry. We also learned from this master that becoming or the path to ascension is an alone process as the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. You must die to who you have been to be born anew. like the phoenix rising up from the ashes. The caterpillar and the butterfly have the exact DNA, yet are completely different in both form and frequency. This is the ascension of a third density human into the light body of its angelic true self. As I mentioned in some of my other videos, my grandmother was a concert violinist and taught music. I remembered when she played her violin, she would become lost in the music. It was her meditation, and she would be completely absorbed into those heavenly sounds coming through her instrument. And when she was in that place of ecstasy, her frequency was so high that she would forget where she was. Her entire world was a paradise of resonance, and she was the creator of it all. She taught me that everything is resonance, frequency, and explained that it was through sound that the pyramids were built. The Egyptians, guided by the extraterrestrials, would direct a certain frequency of sound toward those huge blocks of stone, each weighing over 2.5 tons. And the stone would begin to vibrate and then levitate, hanging, suspended in the air, as they then could direct it into place, into its designated spot. The depictions of using slaves for this are only a fiction for the movies. And current science is just now beginning to learn the therapeutic potential of sound and using the solfeggio frequencies for physical and mental health. Each tone can be used to elicit a desired result. And these are now used as a form of sound therapy for relaxation and meditation, even for sleep. If sound can be used to levitate a 2 or 3 ton object, just imagine what sound or toning could do in affecting each chakra or energy center in the body. There's so much information coming out about this now. For instance, how when a person goes through a trauma in their lives, these fearful memories and emotions can create blocks in the energetic flow in the body, causing illness or even self-destructive behaviors. And using these specific musical tones can not only help with the anxiety, that kind of thing, but can actually restore the natural energetic flow. Sound therapies, sound frequencies, can also be used to relieve stress or worry or nervousness. Really anything from emotional balance to pain relief. Just listening to certain frequencies during meditation, for example, can help to induce an out-of-body state, or even a lucid dream or astral projection. These solfeggio frequencies are even used to lower blood pressure and heart rate. And to me, it just seems like a crime that some are still being advised to take pharmaceuticals for these problems, when the answer is so simple and so beautiful. I learned many years ago that this planet possesses in nature everything the human body could ever need to maintain a healthy and extended life. And once we learn to tune in to the frequencies of the natural world and its fundamental inherent knowledge, we have at our fingertips all the medicine we would ever need for any ailment, from a bad mood to cancer. Again, we have to be able to let go of our terrestrial programming. These things taught on this planet are under the authority, or have been under the authority, of those who have controlled humanity for millennia. And they do not have our best interests at heart. There's never a better time for us to awaken to our own self-mastery and teach ourselves through our own higher guidance to take control of our own lives, our own destiny. Well, enough for now. See you all soon. Bye-bye.